Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back at my dining room table with some more cider to try. And it's a bit different, this. It's from bigger producers. I like to do this every so often because it calibrates me. You know, I don't drink sort of mass produced or large production cider very often. And so it's good to do that, to understand the distinction between what I sell and like and what most people drink, you know. And these are by no means bad producers, you know. We're not having like Care or something like that. These are well-respected producers. One from Somerset, Thatcher's, and one from Herefordshire, Weston's. And they're vintage ciders. They're vintage ciders, so we're going to compare the two. This is 2023, the Weston's. This one is, it says it's vintage, but does it have a date on it, a year on it? 2023. Cool. Both 2023. So Somerset and Herefordshire, both 2023, both vintage. Let's start with two glasses as well. I've gone mad. I've got two glasses. I figured it'd be better to put one in one glass, one in the other, and then directly compare that way. Then mix them up in the glass and then confuse me. I'm very easily confused. We're going to start with the Thatcher's, just because that's the one on my left. And I always start on my left. Right, what does it say before I open it? It says Thatcher's vintage, blah, blah, of course. William Thatcher began making Somerset cider at his family farm in 1904. Today, his craftsmanship has been poured into the unique character of Thatcher's vintage. We've chosen the finest bittersweet apples from the pick of the year, matured for a fuller flavour. This is a timeless medium dry cider, deep in flavour yet light in colour. The richness of Thatcher's vintage is rounded off with a satisfyingly crisp sparkle, best served chilled. 8.3%. So they're using bittersweets. We like that a lot. It's 8.3. They're making all year round. I'm going to guess they're making a concentrate. They're fermenting it. They're pressing the juice, making a concentrate, so reducing it down to something which is mightily high in sugar, which is basically nothing's going to happen to it when it's that sort of sweet. There's not much sugar in it. There's nothing available for any bacteria or yeast or anything like that. So you water it back when you want to ferment it to whatever concentration you want, depending on the ABV you want. For example, 8.3. Then you add your yeast and you ferment it. That's how you mass produce cider. So I'm going to assume that's what they're doing. I'm going to assume they're making a concentrate and using laboratory yeast. Just because they couldn't make on this scale any other way. I'm happy to be disabused of that by anybody who wants to disabuse me. But there we go. Let's open it and try it. It's going to be false carbonated, obs. So it'll be interesting to see what medium dry means in Thatcher land. And what carbonation levels they're like in Thatcher's land. Let's pour it out and have a look. Okay, so it's fizzy, it's light in colour. Let's get some form of thingamajig. We're going to go back to you, Mr. Tile. Or is it Mrs. Tile? I can never tell them apart. It's hard to determine the gender or otherwise of tiles. There you go. So it's bright. Very bright, it's filtered, it's pale gold, it's light in colour for sure, and those bubbles look to me definitely false carbonated. Okay? So, it's ticking the boxes of a larger production cider, you know, it's not hazy. They do a hazy one, a cloudy vintage, which maybe I'll try that as well at some point. One of the best, my favourite sort of larger production cider is actually from Thatcher's. It's their, I forget what it's called, I'll put it on the screen, but it's what I tend to like the most of the larger producers. So, I've done the colour, let's smell it. It smells very confectioned. That's what I want to say. Makes me think of icing sugar, confectionery, that kind of thing. I mean, there's not a lot of apple on the nose, and it's making me think of like dessert apple. That's what I may think of on the nose. And they said they used bittersweets. Okay. I mean, let's try it. Okay. There is a suggestion of tannin, the merest suggestion. The bubbles are actually quite light and moussey, not as aggressive as I thought they'd be. I mean, it's very fizzy, but the bubbles aren't painful on your tongue. Like if you drink like Coca-Cola, it's like, Jesus Christ, it's like sandpaper in your mouth with CO2. This is lighter than that. But that thing I got on the nose, that slightly confectioned element, I'm getting it on the palate. It's there's a hint of sort of the merest suggestion perhaps of sort of tannic leatheriness. I mean, the merest suggestion, but the whole thing is very light, pretty simple. And the thing that bothers me the most, it's 8.3%, and it tastes like it could be 4%, which is kind of dangerous. You know, it's unnecessarily dangerous. And if they are making it from a concentrate, they're diluting it in such a way that they know they're going to get an 8.3% cider, on top of which that comes in under the 8.5%, which is where the tax goes up. You know, you get taxed on ABV, and there's like stages. At 8.5, it goes up. So they're coming in just under that. So you're not paying any more tax, so you can pay less for this, but get absolutely trolleyed on it very quickly. You know, and it's almost like it's almost like an alcohol pop in terms of that sweetness and lightness of flavour. Yeah. Okay. That was a Thatcher's vintage. Yeah. What I'm left with is almost like an icing sugar sweetness. There's maybe a hint of bitterness on the back end, but it is that confection thing that I'm left with. Okay. That was the Thatcher's. I nearly got the name of the other one that I like, because there is one of theirs that I actually do like. Rascal, something Rascal. I'll put it on the screen. Right, did I read this label? I don't think I did. Let's do it. This is 8.2, so it's 0.1% less strong than the Thatcher's, is the Weston's. It's Henry, Handsome Devil. Henry Weston's vintage is produced only from apples from a single year's harvest. Our vintage ciders are always slowly matured and spend time in traditional oak vats, which ensures an exceptional taste. If it doesn't ensure it, you know. This has got a geographic origin, UK protection on it. Has this one? Nope. So the Herefordshire one does. I mean, for what it's worth. Enjoy responsibly. Avoid alcohol if pregnant, especially when it's 8.2% cider. If you're pregnant drinking 8.2% cider, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Avoid alcohol. Yeah, we did that. So yeah, look, bright and sparkling. Aroma, rich and fruity. Finish, smooth and rounded. Taste, medium dry. But this one said it was medium dry. Yeah, right. Okay. Pop. Let's see how they compare. And colour-wise, very similar. This might have just a dab more amber to it. What do we think? I mean, not really, actually. There's almost nothing in it. Almost nothing in it. In terms of the... this is more of a mousse on it, the Thatcher's, than the Weston's. So Weston's is in Muchmarcle, in Herefordshire, as is Greg's Pit. And if you're at Greg's Pit, standing outside the house, chatting with James, as I'm wont to do, and you look down sort of the driveway, the long track that runs up to the Greg's Pit, the house, you can see the fermenting vessels of Weston's in the distance poking through the trees. And it's amazing, the juxtaposition between James's and Weston's, you know, it's just amazing, you know, it's like this behemoth next to this tiny producer. It's really interesting. Anyway, let's sniff this. There's a hint of that confection thing on the nose, less so, I must say. Yeah, this feels a little bit more earthy for sure. I mean, it's not a big nose. There is a slight confection dessert apple character to it on the nose, but it feels a little bit earthier, let's say. A bit more orchardy. Hang on. Yeah, I mean, yeah. This and this. Loads apart. On the nose, this has got a bigger nose, but it is more of a confection sort of nose. This has got a more subtle nose, but it's a bit earthier, and I prefer it. Feels a bit more authentic. It was in oak, I think they said. I mean, I'm not getting vanilla or anything like that, but you know, let's try it. More obvious tannins on this. Absolutely. It's got better acidity, which offsets the sweetness. Medium dry. I mean, I would still call this a medium, but it's closer to a medium dry than the Thatcher's by some margin. Yeah. It's still a little bit simple. I feel like it's a bit light. The sweetness is still slightly confectioned, but it's got very, very subtle hidden depths that I feel the Thatcher's lacks. Yeah, I think you do get a woodiness, a more tannic structure. There's more apple character for sure. Yeah, that one's clearly made from apples. This one less so, the Thatcher's. My preference is certainly for the Westons over the Thatcher's. I feel like, because it's got a bit more character, a bit more tannic structure, subtly, but it's there, that this is, I mean, you can still drink it pretty fast, but it's much more of a sipper. It's beefier, it's got more character, it makes your synapses fire a little more. It feels less of an alcohol delivery system than the Thatcher's. The Weston certainly does. So if I was going to go for one, Weston's. Thatcher's? Nah, not for me. Not for me, I'm afraid. I feel like if I really wanted to get drunk easily and quickly, I'd go for the Thatcher's. If I wanted to get drunk, you know, reasonably quickly, but you know, but a bit more slowly, a bit more elegantly, or serenely, and with a bit more thinking about what I'm actually consuming, Weston's is the one for me. Absolutely. So there you go. You are welcome to disagree. But for me, the winner, Weston's. Absolutely. I nearly remembered the name of this. But having said that, one of the best, I think, commercial ciders you can get at big reducers is from Thatcher's. And it's called this. I'll probably put it on the screen already when we do it again. It's called this. Okay? So, there you go. So a bit of love for Thatcher's there. So there you go, guys. Thank you for joining me at my dinner table, getting very drunk on 2 ciders. I hope you join me again, but until that time, cheers.